I just love beautiful flowers. They are some of the most complex structures in God's creations. They come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes, from tiny wildflowers to great big tropical blooms. They make up about 90% of plant species. There are over 390 different species of flowering plants, and they're discovering more all the time. Most of them enjoy them because of their bright colors and their sweet fragrance. But did you know that most flowers reproduce sexually? Today I'd like to show you how God designed flowers to reproduce, why that design creates genetic variation, and how flowers form amazing partnerships with pollinators that help sustain entire ecosystems. As we explore the science, we will also see how these amazing designs point us to the wisdom and the care of our Creator. Be sure to stay to the end, because we'll discover not only how flowers work, but why Jesus pointed to them as a reminder of God's care for each one of us. Hi, I'm Kimberly, and this is Wonderfully Made Science. When we see flowers, most of us simply think they're beautiful. They brighten our gardens, attract butterflies, and fill our homes with color. But flowers are so much more than decoration. They're living examples of incredible design. Today I'd like to show you some of the amazing science behind flowers and how that science points us to the wisdom and care of our Creator. Flowers are the reproductive structures of many plants. Their purpose is to produce seed so that new plants can grow. Every flower is designed for sexual reproduction. Its colors, fragrance, nectar, and shape all work together to help pollen move from one flower to another so seeds can be produced. Many flowering plants also have backup ways to reproduce asexually. But the flower's main purpose is sexual reproduction. Inside each flower are specialized structures that make reproduction possible. Here's how it works. The male parts, the stamens, produce pollen, which contains the male sex cells. The female parts, pistil or carpel, include the stigma, which catches pollen, the style, which is the tube that the pollen travels down, and the ovary, which contains the ovules, which contain the female sex cells. The stamen produces pollen while the pistil contains the ovules, and so the pollen is transferred from one flower to another, often by a bee, a butterfly, hummingbird, or even the wind. And when that pollen from the compatible flower reaches the stigma, a male sex cell travels through the pollen tube down to an ovule, and it fertilizes the female sex cell. The fertilized ovules then develop into seeds, which are basically containing the embryo, and those seeds can grow into a new plant. Fertilization also produces a fruit, which is simply the mature ovary of the flower after fertilization. The fruits may be fleshy, like a peach, but some fruits are so small, dry, and tightly fused to the seed that we don't really recognize them as fruits. For example, the maple helicopters. The fruit surrounds or is associated with the seed. The purpose of the fruit is to help protect or to disperse the seeds. This is one of the reasons why flowers are so remarkable. They aren't just beautiful, they're highly specialized reproductive structures, with each part contributing to the process of producing the next generation of plants. Yes, flowers are more than beautiful. They're designed to reproduce. God established this pattern from the very beginning. Genesis 1:11 tells us, "Then God said, 'Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb that yields seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself, on the earth.' And it was so." From the very first chapter of the Bible, we see that reproduction was not an accident. It was part of God's intentional design. God's design for reproduction is so effective that many flowering plants can even reproduce in more than one way. In addition to making seeds through flowers, many species can produce new plants without fertilization. We call this asexually. For example, strawberries are able to send out runners that grow into new plants. Garlic grows from cloves. Potatoes grow from tubers. These new plants are essentially genetic copies of the parent plant. This asexual method is efficient and allows plants to spread quickly. But sexual reproduction offers another incredible advantage. When pollination from one plant combines with the ovule of another, the offspring receive a unique combination of genes. That genetic variation helps plant populations better withstand diseases, pests, and changing environmental conditions. God didn't just design one way for plants to survive. He designed multiple strategies, each serving an important purpose. Flowers also remind us that living things depend on one another. Many flowers produce nectar to attract pollinators, like bees, butterflies, moths, hummingbirds, and other beneficial insects. The pollinators receive food. The flower receives pollination. Both benefit. Scientists call this mutualism, a relationship in which both organisms benefit. Without pollinators, many plants couldn't produce seed or fruit. And without flowers, many pollinators would lose one of their primary food sources. It's another example of God's incredible design, where different parts of creation work together. If you've ever planted flowers among your vegetables, you've probably seen this in your own garden. Flowers often attract pollinators and beneficial insects that help your garden flourish. Beauty and purpose go hand in hand. King David recognized this incredible wisdom when he wrote, "O Lord, how manifold are your works! In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your possessions." Psalms 104:24. The more we learn about creation, the more we discover layer upon layer of thoughtful design. Every flower reveals wisdom. Every pollinator relationship reveals wisdom. Every seed reveals wisdom. Science doesn't take away our sense of wonder, it deepens it. Jesus once pointed his listeners to the flowers growing around them. At Matthew 6:28 and 29, it says, "So why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If God gives such care to flowers that bloom only for a short time, how much more does He care for you?
Today we explore the incredible biology behind flowers and discovered how their designs point to the wisdom of their creator. So the next time you walk through your garden, visit a park, or notice wildflowers blooming alongside the road, take a moment to look a little closer. Flowers are more than beautiful. They reproduce, they support pollinators, they strengthen ecosystems, and they help gardens to thrive. They also point us to the wisdom, creativity, and loving care of the God who designed them all. Thanks for joining me today. If this video helped you see God's fingerprints in creation, I would love for you to subscribe and join me as we continue discovering the amazing designs found in God's creation.